You're about to watch a podcast with myself and Ryan Anthony. He's a business coach known for helping businesses sell more and make more. In this podcast, we'll go through powerful sales strategy as well as coaching tips and the business mindset. Enjoy. Ryan, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I came across your content, amazing content, by the way. And you play guitar, you're a singer, you're so creative, but at the same time, you've got all the sales strategy, one-on-one mentorship, so much going on. So thank you so much for your time. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started doing what you are doing.
Well, thank you for the compliments, Bradley. Make a man cry. Name's Ryan, kicking it here out in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. In terms of what we got going on, what we're doing over here, we have a consultancy that we're actually just going through a bit of a shift right now. You probably came across some of the stuff from our company, Stories Inc. That was much more focused on just the marketing side of things, and we are evolving into what is called outcomes, not ideas. And essentially what we're doing there is we've taken a much deeper focus on how do we help our clients, which are primarily clients that are doing between 1 to 10 in annual rev. Sometimes it's a little bit lower, but they're fast moving, they're hungry, they're big hearted, they're playing to win. But how do we help them ultimately sell more and earn more, drive revenue, and maximize profitability through what we know inside and out the worlds of brand marketing and sales? So that's what we bridge to help do that, and that's what we do over here.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, I saw your last piece of content that you were posting. You just touched on the difference between cost, price, and value. And I found that so valuable. Could you touch on what the difference is between those three things?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Pricing to me is super interesting, right? And anytime when it comes to pricing, it's very indicative of what people see in terms of the value that they create and put into the market. So one thing that we look at a lot with our clients is when it comes to positioning, people have a hard time. They go, I want to be luxury. I want to be premium. For the everyday man or woman, it's a discount brand. But usually when it comes to the reflection and how that makes sense against our pricing, it's all over the map. And so when we get into these conversations and we figure out, well, first of all, what value do you uniquely create? What is it that you offer that you're the only of that is meaningfully different to the point amongst your competitors that the market and your ideal customer is willing and happy to pay over and over and over again? That's, if I was the Riddler and I was messing around with Batman, that's the riddle I would write relative to what we do.
Nice.
When it comes then to what we create and position, it gets into those three of cost, price, and value. And there's a distinct difference. Simply put, the customer, the market doesn't give a shit about costs, nor is it their business. You can have something for $1 or sell it for 25, but if the value's there, it doesn't matter. So cost is an internal terminology or phrase we should be saying. Price is what the market is willing to bear, or is willing to pay for the product or the service that you sell. Value is the gap between what they're paying and the value that the customer is actually receiving, be it tangible and intangible. And so this whole matrix between the three is really interesting, where people get lost and they use this verbiage interchangeably, and it doesn't make sense. It's actually wrong. And so in terms of that, we do a really good part on breaking that down and trying to make sense of it for people so that they can figure out what makes them unique in terms of value, position that properly, luxury, premium, everyday value in terms of a brand. And then how's your pricing reflect? And then we get to the cost, price value game.
Yeah, beautifully said. And I can see you're such a great salesman. You conduct your words so well, and looking at your content, I was dying to ask you, and for the viewers watching, what is the best way to sell yourself?
It's a good question, man. Being personally and professionally, it would be different. You talk about how do you sell yourself with, in a relationship, find the ideal person. How do you sell yourself to get a job? How do you sell a thing? I think what's interesting is that people have a hard. We're all selling all the time. I mean, I mentioned to you before we went on live, you've been hunting me down for a while, and usually I just, who's this kid, piss off, and but you sold me to the point where I'm here, and what you sold me on wasn't the fact that you have a podcast. You sold me on the fact that you saw something important that you thought I was saying or sharing, and because of that, could be about your audience, your firm, etc. So I think first of all, when it comes to selling and selling oneself, we first have to understand that all of us are selling whether we know it or not. Everything, and Chris Voss talks a lot about this, the author of Never Split the Difference. We're always in negotiation. Should we go there to eat? If you're a little kid, you have to go to bed at this time. I want to stay up. If you're, dating somebody, can I stay out longer, with the fellas? No, you gotta come home. All of this stuff comes, into play. So first we have to understand that we all in some ways are selling. And then two, how one sells himself in a professional setting is they have to get really clear on what it is that they offer that's unique to them and of value to a specific type of human being, aka a client, a customer, a consumer, and being able to articulate that in such a way that they make it easy for the customer, the client, the consumer to say, they'd be stupid to say no.
Yeah.
The value to the price or the value to the offer is such that you feel like you're getting a steal. So selling is not only a game of strategy and tactics. Selling and great sellers have a high level of conviction and self-worth. They believe in what they offer. They believe in that they're not a yes, no, sir. They are a peer-to-peer having a conversation, being of value. So a lot of the work that we do, we may think, and people think, it's just scripts and tactics and dress better, get a haircut. It's like, no, boys and girls, a lot of it starts with an idea of value, and value starts with us, and we have to see ourselves as valuable first in order to become good sellers and good at selling.
100%. And you actually have to build a relationship.
Look nice and dress nice. Like it too. I mean, at the end of the day, some people, we underestimate the value of being good listeners. We underestimate the value of showing up and doing what we say we're going to do. We underestimate the value of being honest and intentional with our asks and what we want to do. And we overvalue colors and branding and slogans and bullshit.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. You can cut your hair and dye it and wear a different shirt. If you're nobody wants to work with you. So there's a lot of the human stuff that we do over here that makes people not only go, oh, I've never thought of it that way, but at the same time go, wow, if that's what it is, I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a professional in the industry, working, with one-on-one mentoringship, or whether it be a big business and you're strategizing, what would you say is the best way to attract the audience you want to attract, or the business opportunities you want in life?
The best way to attract. You've got to get really clear and intentional on how you want to help and be of value and service to a certain type of human being that's going through a certain situation where they have a challenge, a need, or trying to fulfill a desire. So challenges, a lot of people don't even know what it's like dating. You're like, it's hard to meet good people. It's like, you know what the fuck you want. So it's hard to date when you don't know, there's no good food here. Well, you're not hungry enough because you don't know what you want. You have to figure out, first of all, who is it and what is it? Who are the humans and what are they struggling with? What are they dealing with? What do they want to achieve? And how can you be of value? And you need to gut check that and first know, can I even be of help? And if I was, how would I be of help?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that a lot of people get lost in is they forget that. They forget, if you're in a relationship or not, or have had friends or whatever, it's easy for human beings to take things that are special for granted. And it happens all the time when it comes to personal and professional. In a professional setting, what happens all the time is companies forget that They're not in the business to serve themselves or their narrative or their story or their agenda. Without the market and the customer, you're fucked. Like, there is no business. So it's about them, and it's always about them, and it's about understanding them as they grow and change and evolve. And we need to keep that present top of mind. And when we don't, the customer feels like we don't care anymore, and we get lazy and we get sloppy and we forget, and we don't do things that matter the same way that we do in an intimate relationship, a friendship, any type of relationship. And so a lot of what it is you got to get clear on what it is you want to do, who you want to help, and you got to be real with yourself on that. And then you've got to figure out how you do that in a unique way, which we do a lot of. And then you've got to figure out the ways to get there to reach them through brand marketing and sales. And then you've got to like put in the work, and you've got to keep them top of mind. And you've got to think like, what would he or she be thinking? And how do we what value do we create in their life? And are we still doing it the same way we did a year ago? Are we still delivering on our promise? Are we being honest with ourselves and them? So a lot of what we do, dude, is I don't use a lot of lingo. I think it's a lot of malarkey. But I do I keep things very human. And I ask people to ask themselves questions, and if they're honest with themselves, usually they can arrive at these answers.
Yeah, I can see that. You're very straight to the point, honest, and you're all about value. You remind me a lot of Alex Hormozi, but I wanna finish off.
I don't know if the body that he's got, I don't know the money, but there's some things that we definitely agree on.
100%. But I actually have two more questions for you. So my second last question for you is, what is the best business advice you have ever received?
It's very easy for people to forget what you've done, and it's also very easy for us to take for granted what people have done, and we forget about what we've done last and how we've shown up. And I think for myself is like, you look at sports, I'm a big sports guy, and whenever you look at well, we were great last year. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's a new year. We were, music. We used to be really good. You're not anymore. So people move on. The market moves on. And so I think being honest with ourselves to look at and say, are we giving our there's obviously a time frame and there's a shelf life to a lot of things, but are we evolving? Are we keeping up? Are we delivering on what we're doing? Are we as good today, if not better than we were yesterday? And if not, what do we need to do to change that? And remember that, like, as much as they care, they don't care. And as much as good as you are, there's someone better. And this whole idea of relevance and the game of relevance is a ongoing, never-ending game. But if you can remember that it is the game, it's the only thing. It, I think, changes people's how they direct their time, energy. And also, you look and you just have to get honest. Like, yeah, you used to be the best.
Yeah.
You're not anymore. You used to be in great shape. You're not anymore. And that came down to choices. Nobody closed all the gyms and made you start eating pizzas. So you did that. So that we have to be honest with ourselves and remember that we're only as good as our last at bat.
Yeah, I love that. Ties in with what is that saying? You only fail when you actually quit.
Yeah, and we all go through that too, right? Like today, I've got a lot of coffee, so I'm full of piss and vinegar. But I have miserable days. I have horrible days. I got days I got a lot of doubt. I got days that are shit. But at the end of the day, it's kind of, you go to your way and you help somebody do something that's in need. And that's the difference between people that sell and people that serve. And I don't mean it to be woo-woo, but it's the truth. If you have such a level of conviction that you're able to help people and you put in the energy and you put in the work and you're honest and you do it, dude, you'll talk to anybody about how you can help them.
Yeah.
The challenge that people have is they forget about that. They forget about it being of others and serving. And then that's why they get weird with selling, and it becomes ego, and it becomes, we have to remember that, like, we're not always going to win. We're going to have down days. We're going to have up days. But at the same time, it's not about you, man, or ladies. It's not about you. It's about them, and don't forget that.
Definitely. Thank you for the valuable advice. I'm going to leave it off with the last question, which is more of a statement. Let the people know what you currently have got going on right now.
Well, I'm working on this new stripper career. So it comes to me dancing.
Magic Mike vibes.
Yeah, I need 6 months in the gym to take my shirt off. But I would say, what am I working on now? We're really excited about what we're doing with Outcomes, Not Ideas. I've got a great team around me of talented, beautiful-minded, strong, passionate people, boys and girls that have played at a high level and won big games and get brought into the right projects. But I'm really excited about, even in the name, my friend, like when we chat with stories and what was that was a part, and marketing and all that whole world of things have changed so much, especially past COVID. Like, things changed, and for good or bad, shit changed. And when it came to the world of, I always wanted to get into advertising when I was a kid, and I worked in beverage, alcohol, and hospitality, and I got to work in consumer packaged goods. I got to work in energy drinks. I got to work in a lot of cool industries, and I always had a passion for advertising and brand building. But I'm also naturally a great seller. I come from that in my family, and I also think that if you can't sell all this, what does it mean? So what I realized through stories is that was a chapter in my life that I'm really proud of, and it was a chapter in my life where it made sense. But as much as things change, they stay the same. But where things are at today is people and how fast we move. It needs to be less fluff, less conceptual, more practical, more tactical, because information is free and the value of information is it's about immersion and application and what Outcomes, Not Ideas, and how that came to be. Even the name was, if I don't know what we're playing for and we're playing to win, if I don't know the outcome, man, is it hard for anyone to help you. And so in shaping that, we also wanted to make it, and I think exude more of myself into how I am and how I present myself to the world. Is I can be assertive, I can be direct, I can also be big-hearted and display a lot of empathy. But at the end of the day, what's the outcome and what were we playing for? And an idea is an idea. Like, everyone's got ideas, doesn't mean anything. So I'm really excited to see what we have coming. I know energetically I'm in the right spot. I'm making the best, quote unquote, in this sense, music I have in a long time. And I'm very excited to be able to help these good-hearted, hungry people playing to win. And I think it's going to be something beautiful, and I think it's going to be something of value. And so I'm doing that. And then if that doesn't work, I got to get in shape and I got to start stripping again.
I love it. I love your creativity. I love your energy. Really amazing. Ryan, thank you. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. And we'll keep in touch on social media. And good luck with everything that's lying ahead.
Yeah, keep up your hustle, Bradley. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm happy that I could be of help. Or if I could be of help to your crew and the people that watch this, I'm happy that I was able to do that. So.